Hello everybody, it's Mr. Second Amendment. Right now you're looking at footage from my 25 meter Army Zero video I just put out. And in that video I showed you how to get a proper 25 meter Zero for your AR-15 or M4 style rifle. And at the end of the video I talked about you should really confirm that Zero at known distance if you can, because we've got some weird stuff that's going on and not everybody may be able to visualize it. So we got the sight line. These are some of the graphics from the last video. That's where you're aiming. But when you shoot, the bullet is going to end up rising up at 25 meters, and you can see the bullet path right there. But at 25 meters, your bullet impacts where you're aiming. At some point down there, it actually ladders up and reaches the maximum height, and then it comes back down at 300 meters to your sight line. So I wanted to show you what that actually looks like if you actually put a target out there, hold the same every time and just shoot it. I also re-zeroed my rifle for XM193, the 55 grain stuff. That's my preferred 5.56 load for ARs. So rolling into it now, you can see I'm actually warming up with my latest rifle here. It's an M&P 1522. So far so good. It's great to get some practice in. And I'm just kind of warming up here before I actually go live. So now I'm going to let the video take it away. Alright guys, so I'm putting this man-sized target out. We're starting at 25 yards, not meters, 25 yards. And I'm going to be moving it back, and I'm always going to be aiming at this white circle. Alright, so I'm going to step back so you can see it. I'm always going to be aiming at the white circle, no matter what distance this thing is going to be placed out at, always the white circle. And you're going to see the results of what a 25 meter Zero is going to accomplish. I'm going to use yards. I'll convert that to meters so you guys can tell. All right, but you're going to see the ladder up and you're going to see it ladder back down. So here we go. Alright guys, here's the 25 yard results. The black dot is the center. It's a little bit low because it wasn't quite 25 meters yet. I just placed this out at 100 yards and I'm going to patch these up and go again. Alright, so this is what we got at 100 yards. And you can see it's going a little bit higher. And I was still aiming right here, so I'm going to go ahead and put this at 150 and get out of here and patch these back up. It's so cool to shoot with a red dot. It's just like... Alright guys, this is what we got at 150. And we are, clocking in about 5.5 inches high-ish from the aiming point. I haven't adjusted my sights and I'm not holding any different. I'm going for the white circle. And as you can see, we're pushing back. It's starting to raise up. Next thing is 200. Alright guys, so this is the 5-shot group at 200 yards. And you can see we're going pretty high now. Alright, but I'm going to move it back to 250 yards. And we're hopefully going to start seeing this come back down. And it's going to start meeting us back at about 300 meters, which 300 yards is not going to be exact there. But you're going to see it start coming. It should start coming down after this point. Alright, so I'm going to paste these up, move it back, and here we go.
We're not going to have you do anything. Okay. All right, then.
Alright guys, so I'm out at 250 yards right now. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. and a 5th shot right there. So you can see our highest, the last thing we did at 200 yards was up here, and now it's starting to come down. And maybe that was kind of a flyer. But I'm going to pace these up. We're going to 300 yards, and we should be getting a little closer. All right, guys, so sorry to break the action here. I just want to show you what it looks like from the firing line when we're talking about the 300-meter target once it's finally put out there. And it's getting pretty tough. I got a 4 MOA dot in my aim point. It's starting to get tough.
Got all three of them in the line.
All right, so we're at 300 yards. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you can see it has now come down. This might be a flyer up here, but this is kind of the elevation area that we're at. So we've kind of come back down to the sight line. And again, I have not changed how I'm holding. I haven't adjusted sights at all. So now I'm going to put this at 400, and you're going to see it all come down. All right, so we're at 400 yards. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so you can see what the 25-meter zero is doing at 400 yards. All right, guys, so here's your 50-meter, or excuse me, 50-yard shot group with the 25-meter zero. And we're doing about, you could probably say it's about 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch high from the point of aim. All right, so this is the last shot I did, or the last group I did was 50 yards. So we went from 25 yards all the way out to 400 yards. And you can see all the little pasties, little patches I put on here. All right, everything landed all within the silhouette. All right, so you can tell at 25 yards, we're a little bit low because it wasn't quite 25 meters. And then it started to ladder up, and then it came all the way back down. But we still had our 400 yards. We were still impacting a little bit low, but everything that happened from 25 yards all the way out to 400 yards, I didn't have to hold any differently. I was aiming for this white circle right here at this dot the whole entire time. I didn't have to adjust sights. I didn't have to hold differently. I didn't have to do anything. And that's the whole purpose of a battle zero. And this is what the 25-meter Army zero is going to get you. So here it is. All right, guys, I wanted to go over some final information with you guys, some final details here. So you're looking at, that's a picture I took of the aftermath. I took off all the stickers. I marked the holes in white and black. Okay, so I know you guys are going to ask me, so and it's totally cool. I'm just going to tell you right now, what was I shooting at? So the width of the target was coming in at 19.5 inches wide. Okay, the overall height from top to bottom was 40 inches tall. Okay, and if you want to look at just the torso alone, that was a 30-inch height, just that part. And the width of the neck portion was 8.5 inches wide. Okay, so I know there's some of you guys that have always asked me, hey, what size target were you shooting at? Okay, this is everything you should know. This is everything you should need here if you're trying to hunt down some of these targets. I've had this one for a long time. I decided to put it to good use today. I'm actually not sure where you would obtain it, but hey, you got the measurements, so you can take some cardboard and make it if you want. All right, so some of you guys might ask about that white spray painted circle that I did in the center. That was my aiming point the entire time. That's coming in at 6.25 inches. All right, so now we're going to move on. We're going to move into what each group did, about the group size it was, and the location it was hitting. All right, so the first thing I got to say is I did everything in yards, and it's all jacked up. I know, we're using yards, we're using meters, and all this stuff. All right, so my range, it only has stuff measured out in yards, and chances are your range probably does the same thing. So even though I'm using the 25-meter zero, and that's how I'm zeroed, my range is set up for yards, and so yours probably is as well. So I did everything on yards and included all those conversions there, so you can see what that's equaling in meters. All right, so anyway, at 25 yards, which is coming in about 22.86 meters. Okay, so we're not quite at 25 meters yet. But at 25 yards, this is about my really lame group size. But this is the impact location, just a little bit below that black circle. And that little black circle sticker target that I placed in the center of the white spray painted circle, that was what I was trying to aim at. That was the point of aim. I'm going to call that the point of aim. That's what that was. So we came in a little bit under the point of aim just because we weren't quite at 25 meters yet. But that's what we had at 25 yards. All right, so then I did it. I ended up doing it at the end because I forgot it, but I'm just going to go over it now because we're going to go in order. So at 50 yards, our group got a little bit bigger, and now it's above the point of aim because now we are past 25 meters. We're actually about 45.72 meters now. Okay, so we are going above the 25 meter zero sight line, and that's about what we got in terms of group size. All right, so now we're at 100 yards, which is 91.44 meters. Okay, now at 100 yards, my lame groups here opened up. But this is your general average impact. This is how high we are. And at 100 yards, I clocked that in about 3.5 inches high above the point of aim, the black sticker target in the center of the spray painted circle. All right, so now 100 yards, again, that's about 91 meters. This is how high we are above where we're aiming if we have a 25 meter zero. All right, so now we're moving it up to 150 yards, which is 137 meters. Okay, group size got bigger, point of impacts got higher. All right, so this is what's going on. Now we're moving up to 200 yards, and that's 182 meters. All right, and at that point, I was measuring about 8.5 inches high above the sight line. And the 200 yard iteration, that ended up being the highest that my impacts ended up going because everything now started to come back down after this point. Okay, so that's about the size of group I was getting. Again, it's 182 meters. That's 200 yards. That's about the size of my group, and that's how high above the sight line it was going. All right, so now we're moving on to 250 yards, and now we have started to come back down. And again, the group size has opened up. But at 250 yards, which is about 228 meters, I noticed we were about 5 inches above the sight line. Again, that black sticker in the middle of the white spray painted circle. That's our sight line for the 25 meter zero. All right, so now we're moving on to 300 yards. This is kind of where the magic starts to come together. All right, because 300 yards, it's about 274 meters. So we're not quite at 300 meters yet. So if I had exactly 300 meters and I could shoot that group, it would probably not be too different from this. All right, but at 300 yards, we have come back down and we have met our sight line. All right, group size, a little bit larger than we wanted, okay? But in terms of where that group is impacting, we have now reconnected and come back down to our 25 meter sight line. Okay, and again, 300 yards, we're talking 274 meters. All right, so the last group I did was 400 yards, and I was really stretching the width of that 19.5 inch silhouette target I put out there. All right, but 400 yards, which is bringing us in at 365 meters. Okay, this is about the group size that I was able to pull together, and this is about how low the impacts went, which I was clocking in about 6 to 7 inches. It was kind of hard to tell based on my group. All right, but the point is, it served its purpose. The 25 meter zero is a battle zero, and the whole concept is the dude on the battlefield can freely engage whatever he needs to. In this case, with my rifle, 14.5 inch barrel XM193, we got a 4 MOA dot, red dot, comp ML3 from Aimpoint. All right, in my configuration, going out there without having to adjust sights or click or change anything, and I don't even have to aim differently. I am aiming the same way every single time, and this is what happened. Okay, and that's the whole purpose that the Battles Zero serves. All right, and I'll do future videos about different types of zeros. Hopefully, this kind of puts finishes up any questions you guys may have. I'll be floating around the comments if you guys got anything. But hopefully this has been a pretty cool demonstration. You guys can actually see this live. And just thanks for watching.